It's Sunday morning and it's time to take a look at the hottest selling reserve list cards March 13th till the 18th of 2022. Which reserve list card comes out on top? Stay tuned and find out. Hi everyone, and thanks for hanging out with me today as we get a chance to look at the hottest selling reserve list cards this week. They're ready to duke it out, man. Real Steel style. They're going to go at it, man. Hugh Jackman's on the sidelines cheering on his favorite champion. Which reserve list card came out on top? Which guys fell? Which ones rose? Which cards appealed to people? Really, this is just ultimately it. The hottest sales. Who sold the most? So let's go ahead. Let's get this ball rolling and start with number 10. On our journey to number 1, we are starting off with Null Rod coming in at number 10. Now this card had 19 sales this week. You can see there it goes for $88.19 US is the average. It's $110 here in Canada. Now, Canadian prices will always be a little bit higher. We have a bit of a supply issue. It's pretty tight up here, and we just didn't get the stock that other places in the world have. So always expect your price to be a little more here. And overseas, we're looking at €71.83 to get that card into your house. Null Rod is a beautiful 2 casting cost artifact from Weatherlight. Look at that beautiful, simplistic art, just like a big boom coming at you. And it says, players cannot play any artifact abilities requiring an activation cost. Epic. And of course, I love the flavor text where it says, but it doesn't do anything, says Gerard. And then Hannah's like, no, it does nothing. It's beautiful. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into number 9. And that is going to be Wheel of Fortune from Revised, coming in with 20 sales this week. What a great card. Great revised, old school stuff. I myself still have 6 copies of this card, but they're all heavily played. I've had them since I was a teenager in various decks. We didn't play with sleeves. And the idea that I could get one for, a near to light mint, near mint condition one for around the $400 Canadian mark looks pretty good. Now what we're looking at here is $358.39 US. 400 Canadian is light played to near mint depending on where you are. And there were moderately played copies for around 300 Canadian. We're looking at €211.66 to get this card into your house. And considering the amount of formats that this card can be played in, I'm really happy to see the price drop a little bit, allowing some players the opportunity to pull the trigger and get themselves a copy, maybe even trade up into one at some point. So way to go, Wheel of Fortune. I'm glad to see you come down a little bit in price. As we continue to kick the tire down the road, we're stopping at number 8, and that is Wandering Mage. It still had 29 sales this week, and a lot of people are still picking up the card in small play sets. We're getting to the more expensive copies being available now in the secondary market. You can see here it's $14.99 US. It's $18 Canadian if you can find a copy. And it's €2.87. And I would love to hear people's input about that overseas. If it's that available and readily near mint in that condition, please let me know. Send me an email or drop something in the comment section. Wandering Mage is one of those fun cards people always forgot about. Somebody decided to buy it out a week ago, and here we are now looking at the residual effects. There's not a lot available in the secondary market. I'm waiting to see how the restock goes, but it hasn't started yet. People underestimate a lot of cards and alliances and the true value that will be there in the future. So way to go, Wandering Mage. Glad you're here on the top 10 this week again. We're taking a trip now into Ice Age and stopping at number 7 this week, which is Brand of Ill Omen. Now, when we look at this, it has 30 sales this week with an average price there in the US of $2.45 US, $5 Canadian if you can find a copy. I hate having to say that over and over, but apparently a lot of these cards are sold out. €2.15 will get you that card. And when you look at this as an enchant creature, 1 red, 3 other, this can be a real game-changing card when you're playing in Commander. It does have cumulative upkeep, but it says target creature's controller cannot cast summon spells. So you're basically stopping all their creatures from hitting the battlefield. And if you put on the right type of creature, you can mess people up. Keep this card in mind for this low price. It's something people probably want to be looking at in the future because it does have Commander playability. And there are lots of ways of getting around cumulative upkeep now that just make it a more viable card for people's play pleasure. All right, guys, let's go ahead and see what's coming in at number 6 this week. And it's a card coming all the way from Spardadia and the Fallen Empires. That is Implements of Sacrifice, with 31 sales this week. Now this card has an average price of $2 US. Here in Canada, it's going to cost you about $3 to get that card. And it's €2.22 to get that card into your house. Now for those who didn't recognize this card because it hasn't made it to the top 10 before, Implements of Sacrifice is a 2 casting cost artifact that had 1 in tap. You would sacrifice it to add 2 mana of any 1 color to your mana pool, and you play it as an interrupt, which nowadays we just change that word with instant. Interrupts aren't around anymore. There was a lot of confusion back in the day. Wording can be messy. So I probably have not played this card myself since 1995, but somebody decided to take that knife, take the little goblet there, have a little bit of fun, and say, I'm going to spend some of my hard-earned money and get a fun card I can enjoy. So here we go. Implements of Sacrifice made the list. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next card. So you've made it to the halfway point, and we're here at number 5, and that is Second Chance from Urza's Legacy. And this was the first set to feature foils. So although I'm showing here 34 sales this week, a foil copy is going to run you a much higher premium than what I'm showing you in the prices today. So the average price for this card is $8.07 US. Here in Canada, it's going to cost you about $12. Overseas, we're looking at €6.30 to get that card into your house. And if you happen to want a foil, you're looking at around the $250 Canadian mark to get the foil. And that's because this was the first set to ever feature foils in it, and you will be paying a premium for that. This is a great enchantment. I have used it many times in the past. And I love that the text here, right? During your upkeep, if you have 5 life or less, sacrifice Second Chance and take an extra turn after this one, because you guys know I love my time walking cards. All right, let's go ahead and see what comes after number 5. As we continue our journey down to the number 1 card this week, we're stopping in at Homelands and Koskun Falls. It has 36 sales this week, with an average price of $10.99 US. Here in Canada, you're looking at about $12. Overseas, it's €9.45 to get that card into your house. And Koskun Falls is an enchant world, old school, kind of like global effects. You can see here it has a 2 black, 2 other mana cost. During your upkeep, tap target untapped creature you control or bury Koskun Falls. No creature can attack you unless its controller pays an additional 2 mana whenever that creature attacks. Talk about slowing people down, and cards like this find its way into decks that use Tabernacle of Pendelvale. It's a very effective card. It's something that everyone might want to have at least one of, just in case for the future. Let's go ahead and see what comes in at number 3 this week. Conch Horn from Fallen Empires, with 56 sales this week. It has an average price of $4.99 US. Here in Canada, it runs you $6 Canadian, and it's €6.19 to get this card into your house. This is a 2 casting cost artifact with a 1 tap and sacrifice. Draw 2 cards, then put 1 card from your hand back on top of your library. It mimics Brainstorm perfectly. It's always great to have in commander decks, and although it's not seeing a lot of play right now, you never know when cards like this will become more popular and find permanent homes inside commander decks. Love to see this card, and I've always enjoyed that artwork. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the number 2 card this week. The trip down to number 1 is almost over. Here we are stopping off with Delif's Cube from Fallen Empires and 68 sales this week. The average price is $1.75 US. Here in Canada, you're looking at around $2 to get that card, just a toonie. And overseas, it's €2.23 to get this card into your house. Welcome to the top 10 Delif's Cube. Kind of looks like the Transformers Matrix Cube, right? All great journeys must come to an end. And this week, we're ending in Weatherlight with Ancestral Knowledge, the number 1 card. 236 sales this week. The average price is $11.27 US. Here in Canada, you're looking at around $15 Canadian for a near mint copy. Overseas, it's €6.85 to get that card into your house. This is one of those cards you can really enjoy, and it has a lot of good times. It also is played in Commander, in both Estrid and Luna. This is one of those cards that looks like a lot of people decided to pull the trigger on this week and just make it happen. Way to go, Ancestral Knowledge, and thank you everyone for tuning in to the top 10 hottest selling reserve list cards this week. I look forward to seeing you all next week. I just wanted to take the time to say a big thank you to all the patrons on the channel who make videos like this possible each and every day. Without your support, this would not be happening. Thank you again, everyone. I'll see you guys soon. Have a great weekend. You guys made it to the end of the video. I'm throwing a little extra out there. There was unusual activity out there in the Underground Sea Revised area where a lot of moderate and heavily played copies have been selling on the secondary market. As well, there was numerous copies of Library of Alexandria selling. A lot of these happened on Facebook groups, but a few happened publicly, and my store let me know a few copies had sold. I just thought I would let people know. Although these don't always make the top 10 list, there was enough sales here to warrant a little extra to let you guys know what's going on in the higher end reserve list cards. Thanks a lot everyone for tuning in. I'll see you guys soon.